morning.
Good morning.
Hey, one more time. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us here at Unity of Fox Valley. If you're here for the first time, a very special welcome. Please stand if you're able and join us in our opening song.
Please take a seat. And it's my turn to say good morning. Good morning. What a beautiful rainy day. I just can't imagine drawing up a better rainy day than this one. And that water refurbishes up, it nurtures us, and we give thanks for it. Let me start by asking, is there anybody here for the first time? Yes? Joanne behind you? Welcome, and thank you for honoring us with your presence this morning. If you have any questions about the service, the church, or whatever, almost anybody would be able to answer your questions, and I will certainly be available to you after the service if you have any questions of me. And please do sign our guest book, which somebody will point out to you after the service. I promise you, you will not be inundated with 14 emails every day, okay? I also want to take a moment to welcome those of you that are tuned in on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your loving energy coming through the vibrations. And I want to just also remind everybody to please take a moment to silence your cell phones. And before we continue, I would be remiss if I didn't make reference to the events that happened yesterday with the attempted assassination of former President Trump. Nothing I'm saying here is about being political in any way, shape, or form. But my words this morning are, we are a people of prayer. And it's only when we lose sight of that that the pieces start to fall apart. So I think in the midst of a country that is just torn apart by polarization and threats of all kinds that are abounding out there in the universe and in our country, the only effective way that we are going to deal with that is if we grow our mindfulness of just how incredibly blessed we are as human beings to be made in the image and likeness of God, and to bring that awareness into absolutely everything. So out of respect for where we are, I would like everybody just to take a moment of silence in prayer before we move on. And loving Spirit, we call for midst and of those who were actually lost their lives yesterday or were seriously injured, and for the healing of those that were injured, including Donald Trump, because we understand that we have the power to heal one another through prayer. And so it is. Amen. Okay, with that, I would like to call Denise to please come forward and please share with us today's daily word reading.
Good morning. I am Denise. I am your prayer chaplain this morning, and if at the conclusion of the service anybody would like to join me in the back by the cry room, I'd be happy to pray with you for joys, concerns, any and all. Thank you. The word this morning is divine order. Divine order. During times of uncertainty, I trust divine order. How often have I felt disappointed when something did not work out as I had planned or hoped, only to discover a blessing I had not anticipated? Understanding that a seeming obstacle may actually be an unrecognized opportunity, I resist the temptation to wonder why the setback is happening. Instead, I pray, asking what is mine to do. I may receive guidance to wait for a better time to pursue my plan, or perhaps an insight will arise out of what has appeared to be failure, showing me a way forward that will accomplish an even greater good. Affirming divine order keeps me patient and trusting in right outcomes in all situations. And from 1 Corinthians 13:12, for now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And so it is.
Thank you, Denise. And now I invite all of you to please join with me in praying our Spirit's unfolding vision prayer. Guided by divine wisdom, inspired by divine imagination, centered in divine love, and knowing that God is our source, we boldly move forth in faith as we allow Spirit's expanding vision to unfold in our lives, the life of the spiritual community, and our world. Thank you, God. Amen. And now, are we singing or reciting?
We're singing it a cappella.
Okay. We're singing it a cappella. If I would invite you to rise and to please raise up and join in singing and praying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you. Please return to your seats. Now it's time for us to bless our children. I invite our children and their sponsors to come forward, and Mary's here to do something. I don't know what.
Well, so, good morning. I forgot to tell you, I just need to share a quick couple things. First of all, when you come downstairs, you might be missing the kids. We're taking them to Batavia Creamery around about 10 to 11. We're going to be gone to about 11:30. So if you're wondering what happened to the kids, they didn't disappear. They're just headed down a couple blocks to get some little treats. Also, as of now, the T-shirts should be in by Friday. So those of you who order T-shirts, please see me next Sunday. Come downstairs and have your T-shirts ready to go, okay? All right, thank you. Now, please join me as we bless our youth. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it
Good morning. This little song is a merry little number, and if at any time you feel like singing along or clapping or dancing, whatever you feel like, it's called Today is the Day. Acorns are falling from the trees, the fruits of the earth are ripening. I'm ready to share the fruits of my life. I feel my spirit rising. I'm flying up, up, up into the light. Today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. I let it all go. Today is the day. I give it all away. There's a higher plan. My life's in holy hands. No fear, no doubt, my heart sings out. Today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. Today is the day. Na 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 na. Hey, 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 hey. Sing along. Na 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 na. Hey, 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 hey. I'm strolling through the rolling hills. I don't care where I'm going. With an open heart and a quiet mind, the breeze of love is blowing. I'm going up, up, up into the light. Today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. I let it all go. Today is the day. I give it all away. There's a higher plan. My life's in holy hands. No fear, no doubt, my heart sings out. Today's the day. Hey, hey, hey. Today is the day. The world needs all I can give. My time, my heart, my love. With all the blessings I receive, I want to give back so much. Ooh, today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. I let it all go. Today is the day. I give it all away. There's a higher plan. My life's in holy hands. No fear, no doubt, my heart sings out. Today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. Today is the day. Na 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 na. Hey, 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 hey. Na 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 na. Hey, 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 hey. Today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. Today is the day. Hey, hey, hey. Today is the day. Today is the day.
Thank you, Juliet, for sharing that gift with us. Good to have you back here. So, as a minister, I have this shtick. I have a coffee cup that says, "Be careful or you will end up in one of my sermons." And I frequently put people in my sermons, but when I really, really want to get even with somebody who beats me by 8 strokes on the golf course, I have another tactic. I invite them forcibly to come and address this congregation. So we have a guest speaker today. His name is Paul Turner. He'll give you a little bit more information, but I know Paul from my tenure at Oak Park, where he and his lovely wife, Wendy, were intrinsic, with regard to the energy of that congregation. And I'm not going to give you more about his bio or our acquaintance because I think he might be doing that himself. So, Paul, I invite you to please come forward. And our topic today is prosperity And Paul is a very highly qualified individual, not because he was schooled formally into it, but because he has demonstrated and lived the principles that he's going to share today in his very life. Your turn. I'm tired of talking. It's my day off.
Thank you. My name's Paul Turner, and I don't know a whole lot of you personally, but Wendy and I have been, Wendy's my wonderful wife. Wendy and I have been coming here for the last 4 or 5 years, about once a month. We were longtime members of Unity of Oak Park, while Richard Billings was the minister there. And with his passing, we kind of wanted to branch out and make some new experiences. So I want to thank you for having me today. It's always a privilege to share ideas with members of Unity. And as a little bit of my background, I was born into a, what do we call it? Today we call it a lower income family. I would call it a struggling blue collar family. I was a very troubled youth. Spent some time in reform school, if you all remember that. Juvenile delinquents, we were used to be called. I was rescued by spending 5 years in the Army, and I got my life together a little bit there, and then went through a period of progressive period of doing very well and doing very poorly. I graduated bachelor's, master's degree, and a law degree, but at the same time I became a practicing alcoholic. And so at age 40, I kind of bottomed out. Life was pretty bad. I was living in a hovel, divorced, drinking and drugging every day, and really not knowing where to go or what to do. At that point, around age 40, I went to AA. With the help of a lot of good people, I got sober. And then I discovered that the whole concept of success and prosperity. I started attending, with Wendy, we started attending Unity of Oak Park. And as I said, Richard Billings had a profound impact on my thinking. And he introduced me to Emmett Fox, if you all know Emmett Fox in Sermon on the Mount, Jack Boland and his Mastermind Journal, and the power of journaling as a way of transforming your thinking. And then, of course, the old standby, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. So over the past year, I've tried to distill what I've learned from my work with the mastermind and mastermind groups, and from the sources that I cited, into a booklet. It's called Pathways to Prosperity. And for those of you that will attend the session this afternoon, that'll be the book that we're working with. The focus is on goal achievement and removing the obstacles to your personal pursuit of prosperity. So Michael and I have known each other quite a while. I actually met Michael when he was in ministerial school down at Unity Village, and then he came to Oak Park as an assistant minister. When Michael was in ministerial school, I told him when he graduated he was going to become my personal minister, and unfortunately for Michael, that's been the case. Michael mentioned golfing. The last couple of years we've been playing golf together, and as we do, we talk on and off about the principles of unity and the old-time practical Christianity that was taught by the Fillmores and their grouping. Practical Christianity or practical spirituality takes us beyond just the concentration of our spiritual well-being and tries to apply it to the practical problems of living. If anything else, Christ was a master teacher of how to live on this plane, how to make a life for yourself a better place here. And that's the power of the principles of unity when they're applied to everyday situations. So during our golfing, Michael somehow persuaded me to come up here and do this today. I haven't spoken to a group in 5 or 6 years. I did, for 20 years, I did a mastermind program at Unity of Oak Park, and I taught a class at several of the local high schools called Successful Money Management. I'm currently a financial planner and attorney, and Wendy and I built a rather successful business by practicing the principles that are contained in the stuff we're going to talk about this afternoon. Okay, so let's keep it simple. Today I want to talk about New Year's Eve resolutions, everybody's familiar with those, acorns, fleas, elephants, and Myrtle Fillmore. Now, you're probably thinking, what does all of that, how does that fit together? Okay, let's start with the New Year's resolutions. How many of you have ever made a New Year's resolution? Okay, how many of you made a resolution this year? How many of you have kept your resolution for this year? How many of you have simply given up on the whole process of making New Year's resolutions because you never meet them? Okay, so that's a good place to start. Resolutions, when we make them, are simply a statement of a goal. What do we want into our life, or what things do we want out of our life? And if you think about it, that's really the quest for prosperity. Having those things we want in our lives, having those things out of our lives that we don't want. Good starting point. Now, one of the central principles of unity is that the thoughts that we hold in mind manifest after their kind. And the corollary, of course, is if we want to change our lives, the manifestations, then we got to change our minds. Okay? Change your thoughts, change your life. That's where acorns, fleas, and elephants come in. All right, let's start with acorns. I like to use an acorn as an analogy to emphasize the power, the creative power, of the infinite intelligence that we all possess. Now, an acorn begins, like all other things, as nothing more than a series of quarks running around the universe. And by some process, the quarks are turned into atoms. You all remember atoms. Atoms are nothing but pure energy. Remember the periodic table from high school? You know, hydrogen, helium, so forth are combined numbers of electrons and neurons. And somehow, by some process, all of that energy comes together to form substance or mass. And so the acorn begins as quarks, somehow comes together into a series of atoms which form into molecules, and those molecules, by some intelligent direction, become the DNA of the acorn and cause it to become an acorn. Now, if you think of that process for just a minute, it's rather amazing, the creativity that is contained in that simple little acorn. But it goes even further than that. The acorn is directed by its DNA to start collecting stuff from the soil and the atmosphere and everything around it, begins pulling together other atoms and molecules with the quest to become a mighty oak tree. Always, in every moment of its existence, the acorn is striving to be the best oak tree it can be. Doesn't matter what happens in the world around it, it maintains that quest. It can experience bad weather, thunderstorms, droughts. It can have animals eat leaves off of it and chew off its limbs. It might be struck by lightning, but never in any of those circumstances does it ever lose its quest to become the mighty oak tree. It's hardwired into its DNA. Now, in a like manner, a mustard seed wants to become a mustard plant. A tomato seed grows to be a tomato plant. My cat, along with the others, their quest is to be the best that they can be. Now, I'll admit that sometimes I have to wonder what the hell my cat is thinking. But I'm sure, just like the oak tree, the acorn, the tomato seed, the mustard seed, that she is hardwired to become the best cat that she can be. Now, each and every one of you, in like manner, is programmed by your DNA to be the best that you can be, the best of your kind, of yourself. It is the creativity that is inertly, not inertly, but intrinsically tied to your existence. It is, if we think about that transition from energy to atoms, mass, to life, it's all wrapped up in our DNA. And so each of you is hardwired to be the best you that you can be. Isn't that great? So then why do you feel lack, limitation, and lack of fulfillment? Why are there things in your life that you simply don't want in life? And how come you're not getting the things out of life that you'd like to have? Well, let's turn to fleas and elephants, and maybe we'll gain a little understanding. Y'all know about fleas? Little tiny creatures? A flea can actually leap about 6 feet. Now imagine that, given its size, that would be the equivalent of you leaping maybe a couple of blocks in a single bound. That's a powerful little creature. Now, if you take fleas and put them in a jar and put a lid on the jar, they'll try to escape. You'll hear, for a few minutes, you'll hear a pinging as the flea jumps and tries to get out of the jar. Ping, 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 ping. But if you wait, after a while, the pinging slows down and eventually it stops. And once the pinging stops, you can take the cap off the jar and the flea will never leave the jar. Okay, it has been conditioned to stay in that jar. Elephants experience something similar. I was once in Thailand and went to a local village where they harvested teak wood. Now, the elephants there would literally tow these huge trees half a mile or a mile from where they're cut down to the river to float them off to market. The elephants made no resistance and simply followed the instruction. Now, that's a mighty animal, an elephant. Any of you ever been up close and personal with an elephant? They're huge. When they're small, little, they're trained by tethering their leg to a tree so that the furthest that they can move is the length of that tether. And now, over a period of time, they become so accustomed to being guided by that tether that the chain can be removed and replaced with a simple piece of twine, no bigger than a clothesline. And the elephant will never go beyond the length of that clothesline. So, think about it for a minute. The lid in the jar and the tether on the leg of the elephant caused them to lose sight of being the best of their kind, of being their nature, of expressing their wholeness as fleas and elephants. Now consider your own lids and tethers, or do you have any? From our birth, our parents, our teachers, our friends, culture, society, advertising, all tell us how to experience the physical world. They all put lids and tethers on each of us. I like to use the example of a mother telling her young son when he reaches his hand in the fire, "Don't do that, you're a bad boy." Or if he messes up a room, "Don't do that, you're a bad boy." Well, over a period of time, that child learns he's a bad boy. And for the rest of his life, that's going to be a prism through which he experiences all of the physical manifestations of the world. I'm a bad boy. I'm not deserving. I'm less than others. I want to relieve my guilt at being bad through drugs and alcohol, and so on and so forth. It goes. Every one of us has developed over a lifetime certain lids and tethers that prevent us from maximizing our true selves, to come into complete harmony with the best that each of us can be, the best of our kind. So what do we do about it? Well, we have an excellent example in what to do about it in one of the founders of Unity, Myrtle Fillmore. Everybody knows her story, right? Myrtle was diagnosed as having tuberculosis. She was told that genetically she was inferior, that she was prone to have tuberculosis, and that she was going to die at a very early age. Okay? Talk about a tether. So what did she do about it? Well, she went to a seminar, something like we're having this afternoon, and she heard something that made her kind of like a flash of understanding. I'm a child of God, and I don't inherit disease. Okay? Now, how many of you have ever had an epiphany like that? Suddenly, everything in life is clear, and then 10 minutes later, it starts clouding again. And an hour later, the epiphany has disappeared. And in a couple of days, it's gone, and you're back to the same old lids and tethers. Well, what did Myrtle do? She took her affirmation into prayer and meditation. Did she get an immediate healing? No. Took a long time, several years. But eventually the tuberculosis disappeared. Now, you have to remember, back in the 1890s, we didn't have doctors where you could go to get a pill and cure your tuberculosis. People died from it. Medical science as we know it today, it was in its infancy, and there was little that doctors could offer in the way of help, except to go sit up in the mountain somewhere, breathe clean air, and die. She chose not to do that. She chose to heal herself. And while today, faith healing may have fallen into disrepute because of some charlatans in the business, but many of us still believe that we have the power within us if we choose to exercise that power in a sustained and disciplined way to make profound changes in our lives, profound changes much the same as the profound change that Myrtle experienced. Not going to happen overnight, but changes can be made. As I said in my own story, I went from the levels of despair to what I consider to be a highly prosperous life, and a highly prosperous wife also. Wendy and I have been together over 30 years, and we share a wonderful life. We're business partners, life partners. We travel together. Life is just good for the two of us, and it's good largely because of the principles of unity being applied in a practical way to solve the problems that we encounter in life. So, this afternoon, we're going to take a little deeper dive into acorns, fleas, elephants, and myrtle. Pathways to Prosperity is designed as a guide to transforming your thinking. It helps you to identify those false beliefs or tethers, lids, which you currently hold in your mind that are creating physical manifestations of lack, limitation, things in your life that you don't want, and inability to get the things into your life that you do want. I hope you'll join me. Looking forward for an hour or two together. We'll work through those issues. And again, thank you for giving me the privilege of speaking to you today.
By the way, Paul, I had learned long ago, never trust an atom because they make up everything. Intrinsic to this whole process that Paul was talking about, and intrinsic to the whole unity movement, is prayer and meditation. So that is what we are going to do right now. pray. I invite you just to relax. Not just your body, but to relax your mind. Take a nice deep breath, inhale it, and then let it go. Exhale it. That whole pattern of breathing just so mirrors what our spiritual journeys are about. As we exhale, we affirm letting go of those things that tether us, that we no longer need, even if they once served us greatly. And with each exhale, there comes new life, new breath. And so we allow ourselves to feel the fullness of spirit. We take it into our very being, and the oxygen spreads biologically, nurturing, feeding every organ, and serves at the same time as an analogy, as a metaphor of what it means, what it feels like to completely imbibe in the spirit in which we are immersed, and in that same spirit which becomes a part of each and every one of us in a very, very real way. A dynamic way, really. A way that allows us to not just be, but to become beyond what we are at any given moment. Allows us to walk, allows us to talk, allows us to smile, allows us to laugh, and yes, appropriately allows us to shed a tear. These breaths that we take are real manifestations of our inherent beauty, power, splendor, magnificence, our wholeness, our fullness. That spirit inspires us not just to want those things in our lives, but to be those things. I invite you now to just consider that all that you ever want, you already have within you. You are joy at its highest and greatest point. You are love in a way that allows you to be loving in any circumstance. You are prosperous in ways that far and away transcend and exceed dollars. And you are peace, the peace that our ways show, extended to each and every one of us. In the midst of turmoil, in the midst of things that apparently argue to the contrary, we can choose to dwell, live all of those realities. And so I invite you now just to take some moments in silence to listen to that still small voice within, which is constantly calling out to you to be the very best that you could be. And now I invite you to take another deep breath and allow that deep breath to represent a doorway to return to this physical space, this sanctuary, this room, and to become maybe a bit more slightly aware than you were before you went into the silence. There's beauty in this room. There's wonder in this room. Allow yourself to look at the person near you or around you. Understand the dynamic that you share. Understand that there are no ceilings, no lids, no tethers beyond those that we have decided to accept for ourselves. And so in this knowing, you return with a greater awareness and a fuller sense of joy, a fuller sense, if only in a small step, a fuller sense of the knowing. You are here for a reason, for a purpose, to participate in this incredible ongoing process of creation. In loving spirit, we give you thanks for this time, this opportunity this morning to come together, each of us coming from a different place, each of us sharing different life experiences, each of us committed to developing our fuller sense each and every day. And in the knowing that if we become disheartened, we can always return to prayer and meditation. Return to the loving contact with you, dear Spirit. We give you thanks for all of this knowing. We give you thanks for everything. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Now it's time for our love offering, our sacrament of giving and receiving. I invite you to take your offering and hold it to your heart, representing the giving of your heart. And we're grateful for the dollars and the cents, but also in the giving of yourselves to this incredibly wonderful and powerful church family. So please join me now in praying our affirmations. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of supply. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am, I have, I give, and I receive. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all the good that we are, we have, we give, and we receive.
Coming through the darkness, I can see the light. Coming through the darkness, I can see the light. Opening my heart space, love is shining bright. In the quiet of the night, I can feel, I can be the light. Coming through the forest, I can see the sky. Coming through the forest, I can see the sky. So blessed with the joy I find in the early morning light. I can rise so high, I can fly. I feel God's love in my heart, flowing all around me. In my time of darkness, love and light surround me. Coming through my healing, I can feel the peace. Coming through my healing, I can feel the peace. Open to receiving, I let go, I release. In the quiet of my mind, I can feel, I can heal, I can breathe the peace. I feel God's love in my heart, flowing all around me. In my time of darkness, love and light surround me. Coming through the darkness, I can see the light.
Thank you, Juliet. Now it's time for our announcements. Yes, it says it's the announcements. Before we actually get into that list, I want to acknowledge and give thanks to the music team again, as usual. Incredible. And I just want to make an announcement because it's not on the sheet. I believe Juliet has materials, music downstairs, if anybody wants to hear or purchase.
A lot of it's for free.
And a lot of it's for free. If it's free, take 3. And I also want to make an announcement about the workshop after the service today. If you plan on participating, go grab a cup of coffee or whatever for hospitality, bring it up to the adult education classroom so that we can get the process going sooner rather than later out of a courtesy to Paul, who's giving his time today. And with that, oh, and one last thing about the workshop. If you have not signed up but you want to come. We do have a fair amount of extra materials to distribute, so it would be okay if you did not sign up and still wanted to attend. Okay. Now, with that, bingo. Bingo and game night is this Saturday. Come and enjoy some friendly competition. Feel free to bring a game, snacks to share, and a friend. And we are having guest musicians next Sunday. The Yes and Price sisters have been singing together since a young age. We know that you will enjoy their inspirational and meditative New Thought spiritual music. Rick McKay will do a 3-night series on the book, The Zealot. In this program, you will explore Jesus in a historical context. We will look at the socio-political and religious drama that was playing itself out during the time that he emerged and the impact he had on historical events. The program will be held on Tuesday evening starting on July 23rd. Please stop at the sign-up table to register. Reading the book is not necessary to attend, but if you haven't read the book is excellent and I highly recommend it. And we are planning an outing to the Kane County Cougars game. It will be Friday, August 2nd, but if you want the fabulous $9 per ticket deal, you'll have to sign up today. Just stop to talk to Mary Naruzzi downstairs. It will be a fun night. It is an all faiths and Harry Potter night at the ballpark. That ought to be interesting. So wear your Unity of Fox Valley t-shirt or any Harry Potter paraphernalia. That concludes our announcements. So with that, I invite you to please stand and confer upon one another our congregational blessing. Remain standing for our prayer of protection and our peace song. For our blessing, turn to one another or look across the aisle, and let's do it. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things. And our prayer of protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let me hear you singing.